Hi, this is Carl from Linguagenesis, and what I want to talk about in this video is intense or intensive language courses. For those people who have maybe thought about enrolling or who have previously enrolled on a language program during what is often the summer break in order to hopefully improve their knowledge of language vocabulary, their understanding of grammar, and how any particular modern foreign language works from a syntactical point of view. In other words, how the elements of a language come together to produce something which is grammatically correct. Now, what I'm going to talk about here, and this will just be a one-part video, is the series of pros and cons which I found exist within these particular courses. Starting with the pros, obviously you have regular tuition, which more often than not is Monday to Friday. On the Saturday, it's generally a cultural day out where you may take a bus ride, and then the tour guide, who is a native speaker, will tell you about some of the events in a particular region and the history of a particular area. But going back to the tuition, as I say, generally it takes place between Monday and Friday inclusive over a period of around 3 weeks. Perhaps on some occasions it's longer than that. So you feel as though obviously the amount of tuition which you're receiving is quite lengthy, and you're being exposed to a wide variety of different teaching strategies. You're becoming accustomed and learning about particular learning strategies, and it's varied in the sense that not only is a wide variety of language being covered, but a great deal of grammar is being taught to you as well. Now, on the negative side of things, on the minus side of things, I think these courses can often prove to be rather overwhelming, especially for those individuals who have maybe studied a foreign modern language for, let's say, just the 1 year from an ab initio level, and they've been able to pick up certain amounts of vocabulary, render particular phrases, answer questions about themselves, cope within a number of situations such as going shopping or ordering a meal in a restaurant. But obviously these people wouldn't be at the same stage as, let's say, a teenager who is studying for their GCSEs or for their A-level. And arguably after 1 year with such a beginner's course in a further education college as part of a night class, linguistic proficiency isn't always necessarily met, and the people who have enrolled on these courses often feel as though they could go a lot further in terms of being able to boost their fluency. So with these courses, very often you have, let's say, a 3-week course, and on each of the weekdays the tuition covers a lengthy period of time. It may take place on a morning between 9 AM and 11:45 AM with a mid-morning break, and then the students who have enrolled on the course coming from different countries have their lunch, and then during the afternoon another session of tuition takes place, let's call it between 1 PM and 4:30 PM, again with a mid-afternoon break. Now, as I mentioned, amongst the pros, you have a great deal of time in which to study the vocabulary, the word stock, learn more words, learn about the culture, feel as though you're not isolated because you're with other students from a wide variety of different countries. But then also you get a grammatical understanding, and you're able to become exposed to a wide variety of different learning techniques and apply the different skills which the teacher who is in charge of the course will hope you'll acquire. But I found personally in my own learning as an autodidactic student of numerous modern foreign languages, and I'm currently flitting between around 10 and 12 on foreign languages, that the smaller the bouts of study are, the more I'm likely to gradually absorb the word stock, the grammar, and actually put into practice the skills, particularly oral linguistic proficiency, which I believe are necessary to boost my own confidence, my own self-motivation, and feel very comfortable in a wide variety of situations. Also, if you're studying too much all in one go and you're not provided with all that many opportunities of revision, or none whatsoever, then arguably the brain can become quite tired and rather exhausted with all this, and if you're not going over the material which you've studied on a previous occasion, then it's less likely that you'll be able to actually extract it from your brain and regurgitate it. So I think that the shorter the bouts of periods of studies are, and the more regularly you actually go over the material which you've studied previously, then it's more likely that you'll be able to absorb, store in your memory, and then later regurgitate the material. But obviously it's all about consciously engineering your own learning skills in order to give off what's necessary as far as linguistic proficiency is concerned, because it's not just about vocabulary and the acquisition of words, it's also about the understanding of grammar, being able to gain confidence with reading, being able to write, applying the grammatical understanding, but at the same time using what I call neuro-linguistic programming, actually engineering yourself to feel like a native speaker to a certain degree, and realizing the importance of developing that linguistic proficiency. It's something which I've been able to do myself as an evolved learner, but for many students it does require the help from a teacher or a tutor in order for you to be able to gain that self-confidence and that motivation to feel comfortable in the wide variety of situations in which you would use a modern foreign language. Now, I won't have time to go into all that much more detail in this video, but if you do have any questions about how to self-teach or how to go about learning in your own time outside the four walls of a classroom situation, if you are having private tuition, what do you do in order to ensure that while you're not being taught by the tutor, how can you guarantee that learning will continue to take place? Will it progress? And if I feel as though I'm losing motivation, what can I undertake in order to avoid that? So do feel free, if you do have any questions, to post a comment or send me an email.